Hello, hello, hello. It's time for some more triangle strategy. We last left off how am I phrasing the sentence? Grammar is difficult. In the last stream, we'll do that. It is time, indeed. When we last English. Welcome to the stream, by the way. In the last stream, we blew up the bridge. It went kablooey. And we discovered that we really like ladders, and that enemies really don't like ladders. We also discovered that Huet is a beast. Well, maybe not discovered that, but like confirmed that Huet is a beast. We also discovered that Avlora ran away with Cordelia and managed to make it through the blockade. The ship blockade, that is. And now we are running after them. As to why, well, I guess they decided that Benedict didn't deserve a vote or whatever. Despite the fact that I agree with them. On this one time. Well then, shall we switch over? There we go. Chapter 14. Let's give chase, indeed. All right. I remember where we left off. Should I try and do that first? Should I try and actually beat that mental battle first? Ooh. I think I might want to try the mental battle. Because I forgot. I totally forgot that I had to protect Serenoa last time, and I just threw him into the middle. You know what? Let's do it. We'll gain some materials out of it. Serenoa, we're gonna die again. I won't make the same mistake twice. At least I don't think I will. Oh wait, I actually didn't check the unit placement or anything. Oops. That's fine. We can reorganize. Oh, actually, I think. Okay, placement's not good, but.
I'll take you on.
Placement's not good, but the units that are actually out are good.
This'll hurt. Sound strike.
And take cover.
Into the shadows.
My turn.
I know what I'm doing this time. Fast forward through a bunch of these guys' movements. They aren't gonna do too much.
Defeat is not an option.
They take an awfully long time sometimes. Okay. I'm still gonna move him over here. because I still think it's a good idea to have him go and take out the mage. But I won't send him all the way into the back this time.
Here I come.
You can use Scorch now. And I'm just gonna have you do this.
The fruits of my studies. I'll do my best.
You have 3 jump? That's 3? Okay, that's 3. Peekaboo.
Cool heads shall prevail.
Back it.
I will end this.
How about we don't, actually? How about we just go here?
Very well.
And you... zap zap.
Stay down. Time to take flight.
You can go back here, or, well... I don't know, 123, 153. Well, you face that way. Okay, I can go this way then. That works.
This battle is ours. Victory is ours.
I'll take you on.
Sorry, I'm going to run.
Push on through.
You guys can handle that.
This'll sound strike.
And then a dagger.
Sound strike.
Probably should not have been facing backwards, but oh well.
For victory.
I can stand here and give you a poke.
For the honor of House Wolford.
Okay, hold on. So who's moving next? You. 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 Okay, and then you. Okay. So we're going to use in tandem. We're going to have Frederica move next. Go up here. And use Hawk Dive on the mage.
I fight for peace.
Now, I go here, here, here. We're gonna give you Fire Eater.
Let us work together.
Don't you heal his wounds? Don't you do that?
Not a chance. Let me heal your wounds.
Can I actually? I can't actually heal anybody's wounds. Oh, you have shock. Oh, I'm holding down because I figured it was someone else. Okay, well. Oops. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're good. Don't worry.
Here I come.
Look, see, I can use Spark too.
Lightning. Behold true power.
Sure, we'll just zap you.
Heaven's ray.
Get you out of the
Here I
way.
come.
I don't know which way you're facing. You're facing that way? I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. There we go. You there. That's a lot more than 2, isn't it? Yeah, it's 3. Okay. That's fine. I'll do that twice then.
You won't beat me!
And I'll sprint again.
Show me what you're made of. I won't lose.
Yeah, we can't really do much. Okay, just do that.
Where shall we strike?
I am a genius. I'm going to actually... Can I stay on the fire? No, I can't stay on the fire and still hit him, unfortunately.
Now I end this.
Bonk.
To lead, I must grow.
You jerk. Oh, bye, Piccolo.
I fight for peace.
What if I did... That works.
2 ashes. What?
Not the greatest, but it works. Oh, magic defense.
Let me heal your wounds. Be at ease. Whew, thank goodness. Ouch! Time for some sorcery.
Okay. You know what? Sure, give it a good old bonk. Again with the shock.
True
I thought that
power.
I thought that took more. I guess not.
We mustn't let our guard down.
Yeah, I should probably take care of this guy.
My victory is ours.
I'm definitely being a bit reckless here. Oh well.
This is the end.
And then... I can't poison a barricade. It'd be funny if I could, though.
Impressed? You won't beat me!
We can just stay here.
Charge!
I can poke him.
This is it!
Poke.
The situation is grim.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to go and... Question, what happened to my 5 large HP recovery pellets? And my extra large HP recovery pellet? Where did they go? Fine then. I guess I'll move back. And I shall wait.
Let me show you what I've learned.
I really want to get rid of that mage. Fine then, I'll go down here and I'll use blazing chains on this guy.
Stay right there. We will make our ideals reality.
Good.
Cool heads shall prevail.
There, no, nope. Back a little bit. No, Zaranoa.
Your wounds are
This will help.
one step closer to our hope.
Rude.
Now then.
You know what? Let's go with the Tempests.
A breath from above. The heavens bless me.
Oh, and it spread the fire. Oh.
I'll show you what I can do.
I know you're weak to this. It's not going to do too much, but you're weak to it. All of you are weak to it. Let's go with this.
It worked. I won't give in.
Okay, can't do that. We'll go with that.
Darkness engulfs you. The power wasn't enough.
63, 71. This one's still gonna be the highest. I'll just get you twice.
It's over.
I've been waiting for this.
I think that'll work. It will not.
I won't lose.
Blah. Get over here. Darn. Three squares? No, not enough. But here,
Away with you.
I mean, we did better.
Not an option.
I'll just destroy that, why not? Taking it a lot slower this time, unfortunately. Can you not cure wounds for 5 seconds? Please.
Cool heads shall prevail.
Failed you.
Your wounds are. Thank you. I'll show you what I can do.
You cannot do anything right now, Narv.
This isn't good.
Alright, I can do that. Maybe not from there, but maybe from here? No. From here? There we go. There we go.
Not another step.
I won't lose.
There we go.
Out of my way.
Finally. That's what we needed.
I'll take you on.
Okay. Time to move.
You're in the way. Defeat is not an option.
Beep beep.
Wait your turn.
At this rate, I...
That's not really enough to warrant anything. I'll just go back here for the moment.
Time for some sorcery. It worked!
What's that?
Let me heal your wounds. Your wounds are healed. You have my gratitude. We mustn't let our guard down.
Let's just go with a standard one.
I dodged.
That's fine.
This won't be easy.
I'm just going to keep on using pushback, because clearly slamming them into this wall
Away with you!
gets rid of them. If it works,
I've been waiting
it
for this.
works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You're in the way! Look at me learning. Where the wolf is cornered.
Okay, how do I go about this then? So you only do it if I go from there. If I use a hawk dive. If I use sweeping slash, it doesn't count. Let's use sweeping slash anyway.
Let me show you what I've learned.
I know you're resistant. Doesn't mean I can't do 87 damage to you. Okay, you did 87 damage to me.
Time for some sorcery.
Not if I don't know what you're doing, honestly.
This isn't good.
Let's do a sight set here.
The battle has only begun.
I don't know exactly how well it's going to
Shall we
work,
begin?
but I want to give it a shot.
Allow me. I appreciate it.
Damn it!
Here now.
Sheer gall.
Unfortunate, but oh well. Poke.
Be gone. The situation is grim.
I can do
This
that.
ends here. I'll take you on.
And I can do that.
Yeah! I'll show you what I can do.
You can get these guys.
Ice! I did it!
I have failed.
This battle is ours.
I just hit him with one of these.
Cool heads shall prevail. I'm behind you.
That's the start.
There we go. We got this. We're good.
For the honor of House Wolfort. I'll take you on.
This.
This battle is ours.
I'm going to stand here and I'm going to use sight set, so now that entire area
I'll show you what I can
is
do.
under my control. And then I don't have enough quietus points for that. Never mind.
Let me heal your wounds.
Unfortunate. I go now.
Your wounds are healed. Thank goodness. Yeah.
For the honor of House Wolfort.
I know I can at least get rid of the healer.
I'll take you on.
Sure, let's do this.
Out of my heart, don't it?
you what I can do.
And then let's go over here, and then we'll hit you with... Aw, really? You're kidding me. Fine.
Ready to see a spell? I did it. This battle is ours.
Get rid of the shield bearer.
Resist now!
Wait, no. I want that.
Shall we begin? Be at ease.
Maybe next time.
Sweeping slash.
Now that hit the mark. You won't beat me.
And then Ramfo.
Out of my way.
2 for the price of 1. Nice. And that's how that battle was actually supposed to go. Okay, what can we do here, huh? What can we do? We can get another first level upgrade for everybody. You can get a second level upgrade. You can get a second level upgrade. I would not mind increasing your magic attack. I can increase your evasion. Did I get both? I can get both. Nice. Okay, now it's just first level stuff. Physical defense up. Physical defense up. And that's that. Anything from the kudos shop? I can get hidden reserves, but I really don't want to use hidden reserves, so I'm just going to save up for rejuvenate. And then no one can promote their class, so that's it there. Okay. Well then, I guess it is time for the river. This is not going to go well, I can already tell. From a battle point it may go well, but from a story perspective, I can't see this going well. I can't shake the feeling that the one time that I agree with Benedict is going to be the one time that he's actually right. So here we go!
We've got you now as Frosty Curs. And we'll be taking Cordelia back with us.
So we've been caught. Prepare for a fight.
My lord, if you use the pulley, we can board their ship. But only one person can cross at a time. Careful not to get left there alone.
Indeed. We must look before we leap. We won't be able to return with the pulley, given the differing heights of our vessels.
Understood. We will save the Queen. We must.
So if Laura isn't even going to try and say, hey, by the way, I changed sides. She's not even going to try. Despite the fact that they're like, we're here for the Queen. She's not even going to try and say, yeah, I got out of there to save the Queen. She's not even going to... Okay. Okay. Yo, it's Milo! Still not a part of our team, but a required unit nonetheless. Bonk. I do want you. I want you there. Okay, so how is this map gonna work? So we have a pulley. It's not gonna... Wait. Spreads the effects of lightning abilities. Ooh. It's a height of 8 when our boot is a height of 2. So that's well within reach for Huette to fly up. And for our mages to use lightning. Let's see, so how quickly do you all move? 12, 18, 16 versus 20 and 13. Okay. It's a range of 4. So let's say I stand here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming it does not get any closer. Yeah. A wee bit misleading, but that's fine. That's just how this perspective is going to be. That's fine. Okay. It'd be really nice if I could get one closer, though. Oh? Oh wait, that's still in line with that. Oh, I can get one closer. Then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4... and get everybody. I like that. Get all of these guys. Their magic defense is 4 lower than their physical. Okay. Now here's what I'm scared about. Immunity to all status ailments. 50% or less of your maximum HP. Decrease your HP by 5%. And deal physical damage. So the same as last time. As our allied forces simply defeat Avlora. So something tells me there is going to be a lot of reinforcements somehow. Probably going to come piling out of here. There's 100% going to be like 20 reinforcements that just slowly come out of here over time. These guys are also going to suck. They can't really go anywhere. They got a ladder right there, and that's about it. But they have some long reach. However, if I can get Huette up there... I'd be set. How high is your speed? 37? Yeah, so you're still going to move like twice in a row compared to everybody on my side? Right? 25, 26, 27, 25, 25, 29, 26, 24, 25, 25, 20, yeah. You're going to move like twice in a row. Okay. I have a rough plan of what to do. Mostly going to involve, well, a couple different things. We'll see what the overview says. Use the pulley on the rope between the 2 ships to board the enemy's vessel. To board, you cannot return. Consider the timing and size of the boarding party carefully. Oh. It's gonna be used like a zip line, isn't it?
It cannot escape us on the water. We can use the pulley to board their ship, then strike General Avlora down.
Hawk Riders! Fell any who draw near. Do not let them aboard.
Cease your struggling, Avlora. This is where you breathe your last.
So the Dawn Spear still lives after all. But not for long.
You won't beat me!
All right, yeah, you're wearing the mask and stuff. They don't know it's you. You know, wait, hold on. There's something interesting that I just noticed. Do you not have any mages? They don't have any mages. Something tells me that will change. But they don't have any mages.
I will crush you.
My turn.
You can wait.
Now what to do? This battle is ours.
Ho 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 ho! Let's go and use my sight set right here. So if they try to board the ship, I can hit them. Or if they try and stand on that one specific square, I can also hit them. Archers aren't... Why?
Forward!
I mean, okay, sure, okay. But also, why? Ooh, that hurt.
Victory is ours. I'll show you what I can do.
Yep, it's unfortunate.
Don't be afraid. Ready or not, here I come.
I'm not gonna use a decoy just yet.
I've still got lots to learn. Let me heal your wounds.
This is going well.
Allow me. I'm just getting started.
Ew, your evasion sucks. It's the highest, and yet you have yet to evade anything.
No, the heavens judge you.
Also, so much for my plan to go and use lightning. Will this work?
Hear my prayers.
Can this create pools on their ship? It can. Not sure exactly how much it's going to help. I was really hoping that I'd get something that would connect across the boat. Wait, did I? No. Oh, I was so close to getting it. I almost got it. Okay, that's fine.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh, this is unfortunate. Okay, I guess... Sit there.
Flee while you have the chance.
I'm going to throw poison. Yep, it's just a zip line.
Escape.
And then I'm going to take cover.
You won't catch me.
My turn.
I can do pushback and then I'll get to both of them. Nope, never mind. No, it won't.
From no danger. Out of my way.
Never mind. Okay, yep, nope, it worked.
Take that. This
Nice.
battle is won. Let's play.
Let's do this.
Take this.
From where shall we strike?
And then I can hit you with a hawk dive from here.
Death from above. To lead, I must grow.
This battle is ours.
I'm going to hit you with a blinding arrow,
Lucas, victory is ours.
because the other one of you is... whatchamacallit, paralyzed, so they can't do anything anyway.
I'll do my best.
I'll just bonk you. Again, there's still no reason for me to go and use a decoy just yet.
Almost. The heavens judge you.
I'm just gonna scoot one forward, and we'll stay here. I don't see any reason to go and use lightning stuff right now, if I don't need to.
Ready to see a spell.
I'll use that on you, though.
Weakened.
Is there any reason to use Sanctuary? No, just Cure Wounds.
Allow me. One step closer to our hope.
Do this.
Come at me!
You can still just sit there.
Sound strike.
Do that again. Take cover again.
You won't catch me.
And now you're gonna have to simply sit and recover for 2 turns. That's fine, though.
Flee while you have the chance.
For victory.
I'll have you not go there. Go here, though. And double thrust.
My lance strikes true.
Yeah, okay.
The hunt is
I think
on.
I can... Yeah, okay. Okay.
From where shall we strike?
I won't send you across just yet, but I can scoot you upwards.
Let's play.
Don't do it.
Let the show begin.
Youch. Okay, so now
Show you what I can do.
you're cured. And I can bonk you for it. That's about what I expected. I did not see the
Still burns.
text. Okay.
Come at me!
Still no battle mage. Still worried about archers. But there's still no mage. I'm a bit worried about Avlora, but I think I'm okay to start crossing.
General of Laura, hand over Queen Cordelia. We won't forgive you for taking her prisoner.
And leave her to be a puppet in your hands? You're no better than the Archduke. I am a general of Aesfrost, and Queen Cordelia's sword. I shall not fall here. Face me if you dare.
Oh, okay.
Let me heal your wounds.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. That's fine, though. You need to stay here just a minute longer, Gila.
Allow me. I feel blessed.
That's not quite half. It's just barely not half. Okay.
Victory is within reach.
Go for it anyway. At the very least, it should be enough to have the poison work.
For victory!
Not that. Up there.
Flee while you have the chance. Try as you might, you will never take Queen Cordelia from me.
Come, Avlora. Let's settle this once and for all. Do not falter. This is our chance to strike down their general.
I do not leave survivors.
Me too! Aim for the general! Hold nothing back! Avlora, prepare to die.
I don't want to kill Avlora though.
Fort. I shall grant you all a swift end.
This battle is ours.
Oh gosh, okay. Hopefully this isn't too stupid.
The battle has only begun.
For the honor of House Wolford. I'll make this quick. Haha!
Let's play.
That's only one range. I can do this. This'll help us survive a little more.
More lovely. Let the show begin.
Okay. Can I send a decoy across? Yes, I can.
Impossible!
This is my chance.
Take that.
Okay.
My time is now.
Slowly start moving across. This is not going as
All
planned.
you got?
I'm going to now stand here, and I'm going to use Provoke on all these guys.
To my shield!
That got none of them. Wonderful. Goes that archer. And there goes Serenoa.
I hope you're watching, Grandfather.
And we shall slowly make our way up.
Me too!
Take that.
Shall we begin?
You know what? I'm just gonna hang out here.
The victory is within reach. Sound strike.
Is it though?
My turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick here.
My turn. You were no that weak thing.
Time to take flight.
Nope.
No.
Okay, how are we gonna do this?
Take this. I'll do my best.
I don't know, just
So cute. Very well.
I'm gonna want you to move back up here so you can
Cool heads shall prevail.
maybe go and do something about. I don't know. I don't know. This did not work as expected. Yeah, I thought I'd just get that.
Hey! You are
so naive. I see right through you. I will crush you.
Charge!
No, I'll still stick here.
Hey, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, that's
Battle is ours.
honestly about what I expected. Okay, let's do set sights again.
Let the show begin.
I can hit you with ball toss.
Hold your applause. Behold true power. I shall do what I can.
And cure wounds yet again.
Your wounds are healed. Time for some sorcery.
And now...
Ready to see a spell?
Nice.
Flee while you have the chance.
That's still sitting up there. No, don't get off.
I will crush you.
Time to take flight.
I can't hit you from there, apparently. I think that'll get... yeah. Going here, we'll do... that. Okay. Okay, we'll use side set again. You can take one hit, Hewitt.
Battle has only begun. Let the show begin.
You're gonna scooch back.
Behold
I need you to
true
come up
power.
here. Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, Rite of Rain.
Hear my prayer.
Generate more puddles.
I shall do what I can.
Okay, hold on. How many... what puddles do we have now? Puddle, 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 puddle. Deck right there, of course. Dang it. It still doesn't... wait, but it goes diagonal, right? I think this means we got it. I think this means that both decks are now connected.
Charge!
Time for some sorcery.
I mean, let's check. Yes. Unfortunately, it hits literally everybody but Avlora. Because of course it does. I'm sorry, Hewitt, but this is too good to pass up.
Ready to see a spell.
Simultaneously strike 5 or more units.
This battle is won.
I will crush you. Too slow.
She stepped up.
Ready or not, here I come.
Oh, yes. Perfect. Set the decoy up here.
Whoopsie. Time to take flight.
Don't mind me.
My turn.
I shall do what I can.
I don't want to use items. I just want to use a single TP to go and get nearly a full heal.
Face me if you dare. You'll be nothing but a blood stain upon my blade.
My time is now. Stay down.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Time for some sorcery.
Do it again.
Don't be afraid.
Oh, it's so good. That's exactly what I wanted. Isn't that
My
just
turn.
still...
My turn.
Okay, so you're gonna do that. I'm just gonna use Quietus, and I'm gonna use Battle Cry on you.
I won't let you down. This battle is ours.
This is a safe spot. Is that's okay, that's on a deck. I don't want that. I mean, no one can get me up here. So I'm just gonna stand here, do sight set again,
Ready or not, here I come!
and then take a step back, because there's no reason for you to be up here.
My time is now.
I know that'll hurt Huette, but that's fine.
Stay down! Let me heal your wounds.
Current moment, nothing to be healed.
Here I come!
I think that gets rid of one of them at least.
Don't be afraid.
Not bad.
I'm just evil. And quite honestly, I'm okay with being evil.
For victory.
Oh, I didn't realize there was spoils there. That works.
I'll do my best.
Hello. I'd appreciate it if you all paid attention to the decoy.
Time to take flight.
I mean, that won't blind you, but that's fine. Yeah, just hit her with a normal arrow.
Too slow.
Or not.
Cool
That's fine.
prevail.
Stronger than you look. If I must destroy myself, so be it.
Behold true power.
No. Okay, this is fine though. You'll wait one turn, it's fine.
Here I come.
Again, Huette, I'm sorry. It's for the greater good.
Don't be afraid. I'll make you proud, grandfather.
I won't lose.
I'm just gonna send you up here now, so we can go and send you over if we need to. I'm sorry, Huette.
Let me heal your wounds. Ready or not, here I come.
Oh, I can't hit you from there? Okay.
My time is now.
I can hit you from here, though. Wait, is that enough? Is it gonna do 59?
Tremble in fear.
I did 56. Are you kidding me?
Here I come.
There we go.
Lightning.
I have failed you.
Oh, we did it. Metal Valor Obsidian.
We have taken your ship. It ends here, Avlora.
I am sorry, my queen. Being overtaken by these traitors and failing to protect you is my life's greatest failure.
General of Laura.
You dare call us traitors? You invaded Glenbrook under the premise of peace.
If not traitors, then how about Hyzantian dogs?
Every dog has its day. And this one shall be mine.
Please stop, Maxwell.
Stand back, Cordelia.
You're not Maxwell.
What?
There's no mistaking it. Roland!
I see now. Oh, how I wish I could tell Gustadolf.
Stop, Roland!
I am sorry for all the pain I have caused you, Cordelia. But I will free you from this villain by my own hand.
No, Roland! General of Lore is...
Ah! Cordelia! But why?
General of Lore protected me.
Queen Cordelia!
Ran of Lore.
Your Majesty, forgive me.
Find her. She won't get far with those wounds.
Queen Cordelia! Gila, she needs a healer.
Cordelia? Cordelia!
The Aesfrosti general takes Cordelia and flees on a warship, but Wolffort gives chase, and Avlora throws herself into the Norzelia River. Some of the remaining Aesfrosti soldiers fight tooth and nail to keep their hold on the city, but are eventually bested by the Hyzantian army. Though Glenbrook has taken more damage than anticipated, her people are safe, and House Wolffort breathes a sigh of relief to see their plan fulfilled.
If I had a nickel for every time an elder brother killed a younger sister while attempting to strike down someone they thought was an enemy, I would have 2 nickels. Which isn't weird. Or, which isn't a lot. Dang it, I screwed it up. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Dang it, I screwed it up. Oh well. No side stories, no nothing. Just main stories. Guess let's get on with it. I don't like where this is going.
It looks like she's overcome the worst of it. Once she wakes up, she should be fine.
Thank you, Minister Lila. She would not have made it without you.
Glenbrook was our ally during the fight against Aesfrost. You need not thank me, Prince. My apologies. I suppose I should call you King Roland now.
No. My enthronement has yet to be announced.
I see. I shall take my leave.
Thank goodness. But why, Cordelia? Why did you shield our enemy?
It's like she tried to explain. She's no longer our enemy. Different methods? Yes. Enemies? No.
Overwhelmed by the forces of House Wolfort, Aesfrost's troops are scattered and driven from the Crown City. Glenbrook, at last, is free. Several days after this fateful battle, Queen Cordelia announces her intent to abdicate the throne and make way for another. Roland Glenbrook, his face no longer hidden from the world, will take his rightful place at the seat of power. With the prince's friends having only just finished grieving his death, and his enemies having only just finished toasting to it, this news shocks the foundations not only of Glenbrook, but of Norzelia itself. By routing Aesfrost's forces and leaving the city unscathed, House Wolfort displays their martial prowess and their loyalty to their liege. The prince becomes king and condemns the schemes of Gustadolf, making known Aesfrost's plot to usurp the throne. However, the people's reaction to this news is not quite a chorus of approval. It is plain that the ravages of war and the shame of subjugation have left an indelible mark on the once prosperous nation. Although the battle for Glenbrook is behind them, Serenoa and the rest of the city's liberators must make ready for a struggle of an entirely different sort.
Congratulations on returning to your rightful throne, King Roland.
Ah, you've returned. My friend, a word.
Yes.
I am honored to have had you by my side on this journey. To be able to call you friend.
As am I, Roland.
Your Majesty, representatives from Hyzant have arrived.
We shan't make undue demands of your time, King Roland. We've simply come to say farewell.
Without your aid, my people would still be under Aesfrost's iron rule. Glenbrook owes you a debt of gratitude.
Consider the debt paid. The knowledge we gleaned of Elfric's capabilities was more than worth our troubles.
Indeed, it surpassed my every expectation. The Holy One is sure to be pleased with the results.
Your Majesty, can we trust you to lift the embargo and keep Aesfrost subdued?
Of course. Lord Wolfort has promised his full cooperation in that regard.
Your Majesty, lest you misunderstand your friend's position, allow me to make one matter abundantly clear. Minister Serenoa is of the Saintly Seven. He is not to serve at your whims, but by the grace of the Hierophant.
I understand, but he is also a Lord of Glenbrook. More importantly, he is my friend. As such, I would ask for his assistance in the days ahead, as I have in days past.
Your Majesty, it is plain that the friendship between you two runs deep. However, the rules of politics are old and immutable.
And what does the Lord himself think of his new position?
Of course, I am grateful for the honor Hyzant has bestowed upon me. I will do all in my power to serve both the Hierophant and King Roland with all faithfulness.
In other words, the Hierophant does not have your full loyalty.
Well,
Glenbrook and Hyzant are to be two nations united in purpose. Surely it is reasonable that Lord Serenoa acts in service to both? Perhaps King Roland and the Hierophant should discuss my lord's role together.
You are right, of course. It is not our place to assume the goddess's intent.
Very well. I hope to meet with the Holy One as soon as my duties allow. I expect busy days ahead for you, Serenoa. Be prepared.
Certainly, Your Majesty.
Milo shall stay in Glenbrook for the time being. If there is aught she can assist you with, consider her at your complete disposal. Remember, Milo, that you are the symbol of friendship between our two nations.
But of course, I live to serve, Minister.
And with that, we shall take our leave.
May we meet again soon.
They leave us with a spy. It seems we still haven't won their trust entirely.
Whatever secrets they uncover will only attest to our commitment to the friendship between us.
Still, their actions speak volumes. Their aid has not come without expectation of just recompense. Already, they seek to make Lord Serenoa their puppet.
But we need Hyzant's aid to crush Aesfrost.
By the same token, we cannot resist Hyzant without Aesfrost's might. And once Aesfrost is laid low, Glenbrook will have served its purpose. What then would stop Hyzant from tightening their grip?
Just as they did with the Rosal. The injustice I saw at the source is not something I'll soon forget. If you require proof of Hyzant's true nature, you need only remember.
I know. This country is my home. Built by my father and the kings before him. Safeguarded by my sister and generations of my forebears. I will rebuild it. Restore its glory and its pride. We will not be treated as dogs at the end of a leash.
For now, we must look within. Only after that work is done should we look without.
So, the Crown City has fallen. I see. And what of General Avlora?
She fell into the Norzelia River and has not been seen since.
And my siblings, Thalos and Erica?
They died, fighting bravely in battle. My condolences, Your Grace.
I understand. I have fewer pieces on the board than ever now.
Pieces. Really is true what they say about him.
It seems I was wrong to think that Hyzant would remain idle. Or was my more grievous error to be taken in by the prince's false death? Regardless, I was a fool to show House Wolford any mercy.
Your Grace, reports from the battlefield tell of an unknown weapon being brought to bear against our forces.
Oh? Continue.
A purple explosion was seen when the bridge to Castle Whiteholm collapsed.
That bridge has weathered the elements for untold generations. We mustn't allow Hyzant to think they've won the upper hand. I intend to answer their weapon with one of my own.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that easy now, would it? Also, hello! How are you doing today?
After retaking Whiteholm Castle, Roland assumes the throne, Joy over the return of the line of Glenbrook sweeps the kingdom. Yet not everyone is quick to welcome Roland back with open arms. Life under Aesfrosti rule treated them well, and they suspect him to be naught but a figurehead of a puppet regime. Roland's absence, it seems, made room for discord among his subjects to flourish.
There you are, Your Majesty.
Huet.
Pray, do not sound so dismal. Now that we have retaken Whiteholm Castle, you are Glenbrook's rightful king. We've an entire kingdom to rebuild out of the ruins of war. Patriot and the others have been demanding utmost haste.
I understand that, I do. But... Oh, Cordelia. If I should lose you too, I
know you have suffered many hardships, but pray, do not let yourself succumb to despair. Me, our comrades, your people, all of us are eagerly awaiting the era of peace our new king will bring.
King, eh? My father never once let his emotions overcome him. Not even the day my mother died. I had every intention of following his stoic example, but...
Majesty, I bring word from the infirmary.
Is it Cordelia? Pray tell me she's all right.
She is indeed recovering apace, Your Majesty.
Oh, thank the stars.
It seems she has something to discuss with you all, if you will hear her out.
Of course. Tell her we'll speak in the garden, but only if it will not tax her overmuch.
Yes, sire.
Huet, fetch Serenoa and the rest. Tell them to come to the garden as soon as they are able.
'Twould be my pleasure.
What is it? You're smiling.
It's only... I thought it would be some time yet before I saw you look so at ease. I'll return shortly with the others.
Cordelia, you've returned to me after so long. But slow and steady is the path to recovery. Yes, there is no rush. So that is what happened in my absence.
Yes. Gustadolf was a clever ruler. After the invasion, Patriot and his royalists cozied up to Aesfrost in order to protect themselves. Gustadolf used them to his every advantage. He stripped them of their privileges and left them nothing but their governing responsibilities. I don't think Patriot much cared for that, but it did ensure everything continued smoothly, without interrupting the people's lives.
Now I understand why there was little unrest after the occupation began.
A clean, effective takeover by a well-seasoned commander.
But all the while, he was preparing to face the next conflict.
Wait, does he intend to march on Hyzant next?
I believe so. I wish I could be more specific. But the Goddess's shield cannot protect the Holy State's capital from Aesfrost. Not anymore. He said it will all be over once the death knell is ready.
What is this death knell?
A new weapon born from the coupling of his frosty ironworking and explosive projectiles. Valis claimed it is powerful enough to break through the Goddess's shield.
To think Aesfrost is capable of creating such a monstrosity.
So much for their reign of peace. Taking over Glenbrook was only the first move in a bigger gambit to seize the source.
I am disturbed to learn of Gustadolf's plan. But rebuilding our capital must take priority.
Very well. We should investigate the extent of the damage and discuss how best to proceed from there. House Wolfort will lend whatever aid you need.
Thank you, Serenoa. But since you are one of their Saintly Seven now, I'd ask you to keep an eye on Hyzant as well.
Cordelia? Apologies. A brief spell of dizziness.
I have been looking everywhere for you, Your Highness.
Patriat.
I do not recall giving you leave of the infirmary. Your injuries are still healing. Would you undo all the trouble I went through to get you the best of care? Pray, return to the infirmary at once.
It wouldn't do to push yourself, Cordelia. Rest now. Leave everything to me.
All right.
We got a pretty good understanding of the damage in the capital, my lord. It's a tad more than we were expecting.
I see. Then we must make haste with repairs. Let's report this to Hyzant and see what aid they can give us. Was there anything of note besides damage?
There ain't an easy way of putting this, but not everyone's exactly pleased to hear Prince Roland's returned. Aesfrost exempted Glenbrook's subjects from the salt tax. Likely a bid to get in everyone's good graces. And a damn good one at that. But more than that, the so-called freedom Gustadolf brought to the kingdom seems to have made a splash. He threw out the old ways and made it so anyone could better their lot in life depending on their ability, instead of their birthright.
Just as in Aesfrost.
Then the people must have looked quite favorably upon Gustadolf's rule.
I wager folks ain't too pleased to see us, since they figure it means things will go back to how they used to be.
Roland surmised as much. We must do something to show the people his is a return worth celebrating.
Anna, have you looked into the state of affairs in the castle?
Yes. The head of the Royalists, Minister Patriat, is extending his influence. He made quite the name for himself, even under Gustadolf. Though he seems eager enough to support King Roland, he was just as eager to serve the Archduke. I do not believe we can trust him.
Distinguished members of House Wolfort, how hard you are all working to rebuild our capital. What a delightful thing to see.
Minister, you do us a great honor visiting us out of all the many other responsibilities that must vie for your attention.
Oh, come now, do not think yourself so insignificant. The entire kingdom owes you its thanks, myself included, of course. We are so grateful for House Wolfort's aid, even though you now serve a different master.
We are only doing what any of King Roland's loyal vassals would.
Speaking of the king, I'm afraid we've a bit of a problem. His Majesty seems to be entertaining thoughts of retaliating against Aesfrost. But the people have had their fill of war, and I'm sure you're already aware the people look upon the royal line with disfavor. I only beg you take every care going forward.
A warning.
Even so, there is naught we can do but focus on rebuilding.
Indeed. Let us return to the king and apprise him of our progress.
I would walk the city with Sheila a bit longer and speak with the people.
As you wish. But this is not the capital you knew. Be careful, my love.
Can I talk now? Okay, I can. get out of a D&D group. That's pretty good. How's it going for me? I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Sorry, long cutscene. Also, that's a lot of damage. For us only destroying the bridge and leaving the city untouched, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Let's see, though. So we got 2 main story things, and we got 7 character stories. Roland, Frederica, Anna, Gila, Zana, Narv, Nicoletta. That's a lot. That's a lot. I guess let's go through. First, I guess I'll share my thoughts. So, I think Roland is smart. I think Roland is smart enough to understand that some parts of Aesfrost are clearly appreciated by the people, such as the ability to rise up to various different stations of power regardless of birth. And I think with Roland seeing maybe everybody within our little troop, assuming that it's noted that, you know, we have other characters here and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I'm assuming he has respect for everyone, and that he may go and eventually incorporate that in order to keep his people happy. However, will he actually? I don't know. I genuinely don't. How did Serenoa become a part of the Saintly Seven? So that has to do... We can actually show a more visual representation of this. Not that one. Here we go. So, after we fought Silvio one last time, we were notified that the Hyzantian army... Hyzantian? Hyzant's army, we'll call it that. Hyzant's army was still going to march on the city... Not the city, the village. The Rosellan village within Wolfort Domain. And we decided... I don't think so. Nope, not going to happen. So we found... essentially a salt crystal, like a Himalayan salt crystal, one of those pink salt rocks that you oftentimes see with people have put lights in them and stuff like that. And we went, hey, Hyzant, guess what we got? And they're like, oi, no, we're supposed to be the only ones with salt. They said, fine. You keep your people. We make you one of the Saintly Seven. And give you support against Aesfrost, but you tell no one about that crystal. And we said, okay, that's fine for now. And that's essentially how Serenoa became part of the Saintly Seven. With that power, that's how we then recruited the army to go and blockade the waters. That's how we got the Alfric to go and blow up the bridge. And why we now have Milo, I can't remember how her name is pronounced, now sitting with us in the city. As they don't fully trust us since we're still serving Glenbrook and the Hierophant simultaneously. So it's a bit complicated what our position is right now. But technically we are a part of the Saintly Seven. But we're also technically a lord of Glenbrook. So we're in a bit of a weird spot. Just a bit of a weird spot. Yeah. Just a bit of an awkward spot. It is also interesting, though, that it's still... Save the Rosellan? Yes and no. I think that's eventually what it'll lead to. But originally we had the crystal simply to stop... So originally we were being targeted because we decided that we wanted to save the Roselle in the village here. The army marched on us and we said, hey, we know that salt exists outside of the source. And they went, okay, you got us. So at the current moment, the Roselle aren't saved yet. There's still a lot of suffering going on in the source. But at the very least, we still have reign over the Roselle within the Rosellan village in our domain. So essentially we're no further than where we started, but we are we also aren't any farther behind. Basically, they allowed us to keep the Roselle we already have on our domain. That's a horrible way of putting it. That's not how I should have phrased that. They allowed the Roselle to remain on our domain under our protection as one part of a deal for keeping salt crystals a secret, essentially. So did we technically become part of the Saintly Seven to save the Roselle? Yes, technically, but also no. I'm sorry, that's not clear in any way, shape, or form. I apologize. We'll just go ahead and say yes. We became a part of the Saintly Seven to save the Roselle because technically that's where it all started from. We'll say yes. We'll say yes. Okay, though. Shall we take a look at our 7 character stories? I guess starting with Roland.
Roland, what are you doing out here?
There's hardly a better place to become lost in one's thoughts. Don't you agree?
I suppose. However, if aught weighs on your mind, it may serve you better to turn to a friend.
Then let me ask, do you believe me too immature for my station?
Not at all. Quite the opposite, in fact.
But the other nobles loved to gossip of my disinterest in politics and intrigue, and mocked my love of hawking.
You said it yourself. Gossip and sniping, nothing more. Pay no mind to nobles and their petty judgments. The people who matter, your subjects, hold you dearly in their hearts. Stories abound of their love for you.
Hey, go peddle your junk somewhere else.
And why would I do that, my good sir? I see no reason to forego such a bustling avenue simply to please a stranger.
A stranger? You're posted in front of my damn shop. You're stealing my customers from right under my nose.
Oh, I am? I'm not sure your lack of customers could be blamed on me. Surely the proprietor bears some responsibility for...
What bickering is this?
None of your business, whelp. Now leave us to our negotiations.
Prince Roland, is that really you?
A prince, you say? Well,
A distinguished gentleman such as yourself must be mortified to have your customers bear witness to this childish bickering.
I'm sorry, Your Highness. My temper got the best of me.
And you, merchant. If you mean to trade in Glenbrook, I trust you have procured the proper licenses and approvals.
well, the process takes some days, you see. Pardon, Your Highness.
Then your business shall have to wait some days, it seems. Shall I summon a member of the Kingsguard to explain the law in detail?
No, there'll be no need of that, Highness. I'll just be on my way.
Thank you, Prince Roland. Come visit any time, and I'll let you have your pick of my wares.
Your place has always been with your people. You could walk down the main avenue and settle disputes with a single word.
Don't tell me you were watching. They were petty arguments, nothing more.
As petty as they might have been, you were happy to do it. What better proof of royalty is there than that?
But it wasn't because I was wise that I solved their problems. It was my name and status that let my words wait. How do you imagine a kingdom with not a single dissatisfied soul would look?
That's a difficult thing to imagine.
Indeed. I suppose the best one can hope for is to do what we can, while we can.
Well, we can start envisioning such a nation. That one day we might build it. Together.
I like the sound of that. No doubt the answers we seek lie ahead, so long as we stay honest with ourselves. And so long as we work together, you and I, Serenoa.
I only had my name to use. I cannot speak English. I only had my name that gave my words power. That's it. I was not wise. No, you are very wise. You understood that your name had power. And you used it. Not you didn't abuse it, but you used it. You wanted to help a guy out, so you showed up. And you said, hey, here's the deal. Here's my power. And we're all going to respect that. And you're going to follow the law. And you're going to be a decent person. I think that's incredibly wise. I think knowing that you have the power and knowing how to use it for the good of your people is incredibly wise. I think there is something also definitely to be said about the fact that he isn't staying cooped up in the castle and that he's going about. I'm sure if Roland in the past only stayed in the castle, it didn't do anything else. He only stayed in the castle, he only did, ooh, I'm a politician and I'm the king, so I can do whatever I want and stuff like that. He would not be anywhere near as well loved, and he would probably currently have a lot less in terms of like the number of supporters he has. So I still think he is very deserving of his position. Does he work well in terms of politics? No. No, he does not. And that's the unfortunate part. But he has several people who are willing to help him. People such as Benedict, who very clearly work well with politics and understand how to do a variety of different tasks that both a king and a lord should take care of. And I think as long as he knows when to rely on people like that, when to be himself and work with his people and stuff like that, I think he could be a great king. I think he is well suited. I agree with Serenoa. Surprise, surprise, the main character has a good idea. Wow. I know. Oh well. Oh no. Frederica decides to cook a meal for Serenoa, but even the best laid plans can go awry. Oh no. Frederica, you're a fire mage, but please keep the fire under control. Please. Please.
Do you have a moment, Sheila?
Oh, Frederica, is something the matter?
Well, I invited Serenoa to have dinner with me tonight.
That's wonderful. Are you cooking for him?
I am. I've been practicing with the book you gave me. I was hoping to finally show him what I've learned.
Then allow me to help. What are you making?
A warm soup full of meatballs. A hearty, meaty, savory stew to tickle the tongue and sate the stomach. Or so the book describes it.
That sounds like quite a mouthful, in more ways than one.
The author is rather verbose, yes. Anyhow, I also want to make an appetizer. Might you be able to lend a hand?
Cooking is hardly my specialty, but say no more. I'd love to.
Oh dear.
This is disappointing, to say the least.
And we're almost out of time. Serenoa will be back any minute now.
Excuse me, Lady Frederica. Lord Serenoa has just sent word that he has been held up at a meeting. He says there is a chance he may not even return tonight.
I see. Thank you for letting me know.
It sounds like your dinner may get postponed.
A blessing in disguise. It gives us time to cook this again and do it right this time.
Lord Serenoa may not even return tonight.
But there is a chance he might. And I refuse to disappoint him. Would you help me, Gila?
Of course, Frederica. I shall do my very best to see this through with you.
I cannot thank you enough.
The vegetables are done, though they are a far cry from perfect.
The meatballs are ready too. Now all we have to do is stew them.
Frederica, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back.
It appears we've run out of time.
I was on my way here when something urgent came to my attention. I apologize for returning so late. I know we were supposed to have dinner tonight.
I am just happy you're here. Besides, I am the one who should apologize. I wanted to cook you a meal, but failed terribly on my first attempt, so it isn't yet ready. I'm sorry, Serenoa.
Don't look so down, Frederica. I was delighted when you asked me to share a meal. Now that I'm back, why don't I help you with the food?
Serenoa.
Thank you again for inviting me. I'm overjoyed we could spend this time together.
As am I. I enjoyed cooking with you as well.
The time we spend together is very precious to me. I regret that my duties have been keeping us apart lately. But when I noticed the sky was even more beautiful than ever this night, I hurried home, hoping we could gaze upon its beauty together.
It's strange. When I was in Aesfrost, I would look up at the same sky. But it felt so much colder there. The stars seemed as if frozen. They did not twinkle the way they do now that I am with you, Serenoa.
Frederica, promise me that you will always stay by my side. I need you, now more than ever.
Of course, Serenoa. I wish to gaze up at the same sky, sit beneath the same moon, and walk the same path you do. Together, forever and always.
I swear, I'm going to need to go and change that screen timeout. That's gotten to be every single cutscene today. Also, hold on. She said she was cooking a soup, right? Oh, too far, too far, too far. A warm soup. She was cooking soup. How do you screw up soup? It's soup. Even I can make soup. Really? Okay. How do you screw up soup? Please, honestly tell me, how do you screw up soup? I don't think it's too hard to really screw up soup. If you do it from scratch? I mean, if you do it from scratch, I still don't think it's that bad. You just burn everything? But it's a broth. You can't burn a broth. Unless I haven't tried hard enough or something. Like, soup is mostly just vegetables in a broth and then maybe meat, right? Am I not making soup correctly? Am I not thinking of how to make soup? You haven't tried hard enough, you can burn everything. I guess if you're a fire mage, you can also burn everything, can't you? Like, I know you could, if you were trying to put, like, seasoning or something like that in there, like some extra flavor, yes, I could probably see it screwing up. But I don't think it's that hard if you're just making a broth with vegetables. I don't know. Totally mess up the taste? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess I don't truly know how complicated this soup was. The vegetables are poisoned! Yeah, I don't know. I guess you can mess up the taste if you're trying to make a more complicated soup. I don't know. I just remember... I mean, you can make a broth out of, like... You can make a broth out of bones. You can make a broth... You can actually make a broth out of, like, rocks. I believe you could probably find a recipe out there for stone soup. Not the most complicated soup in the world. It's literally just a very generic broth with vegetables, but it's a thing. Sometimes less is more. Too many ingredients can be blah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm also just like not picky. I don't think I'm very picky when it comes to my food. Just accidentally putting too much hot. Who's putting hot sauce in their soup? Do you put hot sauce in your soup? Do people put hot sauce in the... Hold on. I've thought about it. Hot sauce in soup. Tell me, internet. Hot sauce for soup and stews? Oh my gosh. There are actually some sauces that are specifically made to put in soup. Okay, well then. You'll learn something new every day, I guess. Just use yogurt instead of sour cream for our guac today. Ooh. You know, I've actually never made my own guacamole. It's something I would like to do. I do like guacamole. That sounds good. So I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know much about how you make guacamole. I know it's avocados, but that's about it. Really simple recipe. I guess I don't know like what purpose sour cream would serve and why yogurt would be a good substitute. If it's in terms of consistency and adding dairy and stuff like that to it, I can see why it makes sense. I guess I would also... Garlic, sour cream, onion, avocado, lime juice. Ooh. That is actually pretty simple. So... Hold on, I'm gonna double check something before I ask a stupid question. We're gonna go spice on it, but others put spicy stuff. That's fair. To each their own on that one. I don't believe in stupid questions. I will ask them all the time. Fair enough. I guess, I don't know. Usually when I think between yogurt and sour cream, I usually think like yogurt is a bit more sweet. So I don't know if like that affected, I don't know, like maybe it made guacamole a little sweeter or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, maybe it's just like a binding agent. Use unsweetened. Okay, well, never mind. That completely nullifies that. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know the purpose of saying plain. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I don't think yogurt really has a ton of sugar in it. Sugar than other things when you go with a sweetened variety, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, I guess. I just got angry about messing up soup. Oh well. Depends on the brand. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well then. Let's see. Anna's up next. Searches for answers about her parents. Oh. Oh. Totally tangent with food. That's all good. Food's good. Food is really good. I mean, hey, I learned what goes into guacamole, and I learned how to apparently screw up a soup. The more knowledge, the better, right? Alrighty. Let's see what knowledge Anna has, I guess. Or Eridor.
Under this tree.
This here's the land of the Jax clan. Or used to be, more like. That clasp on your chest, that's their sigil, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a memento from my parents. Or so I was told.
Aye, now that I'm looking for it, I can see the resemblance. Same silvery hair and everything. Villages near here met with a pretty terrible fate. They begged the armies to spare their fields. The only one who listened was one of House Wolfort's bannermen. No one was surprised, big war hero that he was. But by the time we got here, the Jax had been all but exterminated. He was digging graves for the dead, enemy and all. A hero and a gentleman he was. Names on the tip of my tongue.
Benedict.
Aye, that was it. Do you know the man? I'd like you to pass on my gratitude, if you do.
Thanks for showing me the way.
Your coin's all the thanks I require. If that's all you'll be needing me for, I'll leave you to it.
You make a poor stalker.
Ain't exactly what I'm built for.
You fought in the battle here, didn't you?
Benedict swore me to secrecy. But suppose it ain't break an oath if you already know. Oh, but first I ought to tell you. You've the right to the truth. And those ain't my words. They're his. That's why he never tried to stop you from finding out about your parents.
You know of their fate?
We drove the enemy up the clifftop. Cornered him there. The same instant we cut their leader down, a babe cried out in the distance. In the hideout, we found you, all swaddled up. A letter pinned to you with that same clasp on your chest.
Live strong, Anna. Stronger than any. I see now.
Your family died at our hands. If it's vengeance you want, you can take it out on me.
That doesn't sound like the Eredor I know. Do you think so little of me? To assume I would forsake my friend, bloody my hands with revenge. I know the truth at last. That is enough.
Is it, Anna? Or are you forcing it to be?
Don't be a fool. Benedict is the one who raised me. If I ever want for a father, I know where to find him. And when we've won this war, I shall make sure he understands that.
Jeez. Okay, well, that's a turn. So... Okay, hold on. I'm gonna open up the log. I apologize. So... They begged the armies to spare their fields, and the only one who listened was one of House Wolfort's bannermen. So that makes it sound like they were neutral in the Salt Iron War. Excuse me. Brain forgot how to be human for a second. This makes it sound like the Jacks. The Jacks were neutral in this whole Salt Iron War. Or rather, some of them were, but some of them were soldiers. It said, according to... Okay, so... Benedict listened to their pleas and spared them, but they were also exterminated. Unless what it means is that Benedict spared everybody, but no one else did, so when Benedict came around, there was no one left. Sterno's father is a war hero, Lord Simon. Or I guess he's no longer Lord. But yeah, Simon. But according to this, the guy digging the graves and stuff like that was Benedict. I know, it's a little vague. You fought in the battle here. So this is the part that I don't understand. Basically, he says, we showed mercy, but then immediately afterwards, there was a battle that resulted in the death of her parents because they cut them down. I don't know. I'm a bit confused on what happened. I'm hoping we get one more like character story with Anna. We don't know everything, I guess, so maybe a twist will happen later. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we get another story with Anna. I do actually kind of want to know more about her past. Yeah, I don't know. I want to know more details of this battle. Why they were fighting, what exactly happened, and I don't know. I don't know. Benedict is the bad guy. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I think we voted against him in every single time that we've come across the scales. At this point, we've given him reason to be a villain. There's no reason for him to stick with us at this point, because we never listened to him. And the one time I do agree with him, it's just like, no. Benedict's wrong. We've given him enough reason. That'd be very funny if he just goes, you know what? You know what? I'm with Aesfrost now. Sorry, guys. Alright, let's see what Sheila has for us.
It's become late. We best keep an eye out for bandits.
You have a warrior's intuition. You needn't worry. I won't let us come to harm.
It takes no great intuition to see that this world is falling ever deeper into chaos. The reasons, however, remain elusive. Will we see our way safely through this darkness? I cannot say.
We have naught but our duty, and mine is to Prince Roland, whatever might become of House Wolford.
I find your perspective refreshing. Although it may be direct, you walk the path you've chosen with confidence. On the other hand, I often feel that I'm fumbling. I had thought Gustadolf to be a man of reason, but now I see that he will not hesitate to employ deceit to achieve his goals. In a manner of speaking, he and I are not so different. I, too, once hoped to have the influence to change the nation. At least, I told myself so. Really, all I wanted was to be free, and Frederica was simply a means to that end. As long as I had what I wanted, I had no great concern for what became of her.
Sheila,
But this war has caused me to reconsider that. I realize that Frederica herself is worth caring for. She's not the sheltered princess I took her to be. Her wits are a match even for Benedict. She surprised me and shamed me. I was wrong to underestimate her, to define her by her birth and station. She represents my greatest failures as a teacher, but also my greatest success. For she has truly taken my lessons to heart. I see now there is no shame in serving another, and no shame in sacrificing my freedom for something greater. Oh, but perhaps I've shared overmuch. For some reason, I find it easy to talk with you.
the feeling is mutual. You are not so aloof as I thought.
I've just had a thought. When the war is behind us, I may very well open my own school. Of course, you would be welcome to join me. I would be master of the classroom, and you could be master of the training yard. We could teach our students the art of hawksmanship. Our riders would be first class. What should our school be named?
You will come and teach with me, won't you?
Not half so aloof as I thought.
Very, very deep conversation. There's no shame in serving another. I'm willing to sacrifice my freedom to serve the greater good. Ah, an idea. What should we name our school? Oh, man. She didn't care for Frederica. About, yeah, my bad. Yeah, that is a little interesting, though. I think in her previous character story, it kind of alluded to that, though only just now did they decide to, like, flat outright say she didn't care for her. She didn't care about her. Because in her previous character story, it just said that she was interested only in roaming the archives and learning all that she could. And just finding a way to... excuse me. Become like a master of knowledge and stuff like that. And she was forced to be Frederica's teacher and guidance and stuff like that. So I think it kind of alluded to that before, but they just wanted to... I swear I'm going to change that screen timeout. But like only just now did they decide to like flat outright say she didn't care at the first place. I think it does show some good character development though, that it's like, oh yeah, she ended up being like a decent person and I misjudged her at first. Did she help her with cooking the soup? Yeah. I think it's kind of like what she said though. Like after spending time with her, she's like, "Oh, hey, look at this. She's actually a decent person and not a jerk like literally the rest of the duchy, and their family." You know, she's not Thalia, she's not Erica, she's not Gustadolf. She's her own person and is smart and kind and stuff like that, unlike the rest of the entire government of Aesfrost, to be frank. Yeah, so I think it's interesting to know that we have two people, I think, in our party, Anna and Gila, who are both Aesfrost would never use hot sauce. I honestly think the opposite is true. I think Aesfrost 100% uses hot sauce. Have you seen their country? It's nothing but ice. I think they put hot sauce on everything. It's interesting how we've had two people, at the very least, who... Even the ice cream? I don't know. I didn't think about that one. What's to say they even eat ice cream? I don't know if I would eat ice cream if I was stuck in a land that was permanently below freezing. Hot sauce warms the body. Yes, it does. To an extent. Makes you, at the very least, feel like you're warm. I do find it interesting how many of our party didn't start off loyal, if that makes any sense. Gila wasn't loyal initially. She was just kind of like, well, I was forced to be here, and I guess I'll use you as a means to an end to make myself free. And now her view set is her viewpoints, her mindset have completely changed. Anna originally was only trying to become a spy so she can go and search for information about her parents. And now she's completely loyal to Benedict, Wolford, and Glenbrook as a whole. I wonder just how many characters we're going to see actually have a story like that. I mean, obviously Frederica is kinda like that. She was forced into this marriage. Are they even technically married yet? I don't think they're actually married yet. I mean, they call each other my love and my wife and stuff like that, and you know, I think it heavily implies, but I don't think there was ever confirmation of it. But yeah, Frederica was forced into this, which is interesting because now she's, of course, she felt more at home in Wolford within the first 5 minutes of showing up on shore, compared to any time that she ever spent back in Aesfrost, but it is still a loyalty switch. You know, having to go and actually fight her own siblings, especially. So, I don't know, it's interesting how many of our party members had switched to Glenbrook. So it's very, very interesting, I think, to see how several of our past stories and stuff like that have kind of realigned. Frederica's the worst idealist, all passive and peace-seeking. Yeah. I mean, well, let me make sure I understand the definition of that word before I start talking. Oh, yeah, okay. She wants to savor people constantly while you're chest high and shit while at war. Yeah. I don't think that's exactly a terrible thing, though. I think I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible thing. I think it's maybe a little too optimistic, but she does realize that she can't save everybody. She does realize that she has to fight and that some sacrifices have to be made. There are some things she, of course, refuses to let down on, to yield, whatever you want to call it. Back down, that's the word. Back down. She refuses to back down on certain things, refuses to yield. But she understands that there are sacrifices to be made in a war. You know, she specifically stated that she was ready to come and fight, like, face to face with her own siblings. Clearly she didn't want to, but she understood and was fully prepared to do so. I like her thinking better than Benedict's. That's... yeah. I think, how'd you put it before? I think it was you who put it like this. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think you said something along the lines of, like, Benedict is only thinking for House Wolfort, and that's it. And he's like, if it ensures the survival of Wolfort, then we're good. And I do like her general thinking of, I like to save the most people. I personally am a bit more of an optimist, and I prefer saving the most people. You know, for example, in Fire Emblem, I know that this playthrough is now long gone, and unfortunately I think only the VOD of the final battle actually exists. But I actively avoided letting any characters die. I actively avoided any kills that were optional. There were several named characters that I simply refused to kill, simply because it was optional. So, but yeah, like on maps and stuff like that, where it was like only kill the enemy leader, I specifically avoided commanders and certain squads and stuff like that. Not because I couldn't take them on, I could very easily take them on. But simply because I was like, well, why not? So I don't know. I like Frederica's thinking. I like her optimistic sort of, we can save people sort of thing. I know it's not exactly the greatest point of view when you're going to war, but I'd appreciate someone who's trying to at least somewhat look out for someone, as opposed to someone who's only looking out for themselves. I think it's two extremes that if I have to choose one, I'll choose saving more over only saving myself. It's what's that called? It's called a false dichotomy, right? That's what it is. Hold on. I gotta double check my definitions here. English is not my strong suit. It's not my strong suit. A false dilemma or a false dichotomy is an informal fallacy based on the premise that erroneously limits what options are available. Yes, okay, so that is what it was. Yeah. Like, if I have to choose one or the other, save myself or save more people, I'm going to save more people. And I think that's why I'm... Screen timeout. I think that's more why I appreciate Frederica. And not as much Benedict. I don't know, though. That's just personal opinion. I could see why people would still like Benedict, because he's very calm and no emotion and stuff like that. He's very much just pure logic of what's going to allow us to live and what's not. And clearly, as we have seen, no good deed goes unpunished. Every single time that we've decided to be the nice guy and try and save more people, we have been punished. We've been given some of the hardest battles simply because we chose to try and save people. We said we wanted to go and take the bridge. That gave us an incredibly difficult battle that I ended up having to cheese using ladders and stuff like that. We wanted to report the salt trade, the illegal salt. That gave us an incredibly difficult battle. We wanted to save Roland. That gave us an incredibly difficult battle. I mean, actually, if we look... Benedict is a realist, but sometimes too extreme. I think that is actually like a really good way to place it. I think that's a really good way to describe him. That decision really didn't matter. But here we go. I think every single time we chose green, it's us being like a nice guy. Being the good guys and saving more people. Green, we refuse to surrender Roland. An incredibly difficult battle against Avlora. Oh, this one isn't green, but this one was us choosing to report the illegal stuff. Again, one of the hardest battles, because we had to go and fight Booker at a severe disadvantage. We want to save the Roselle. That battle actually wasn't too hard. I think I only failed it once. But I think my point still stands. We've been punished every single time that we try and save more people. And I think as time goes on, I think the game is trying to get you to go, hey, you can't do that. I mean, it did get us to a bad end once. We did fail once, and it did get us a bad end. Of course, that wasn't in battle, but it still let us down a choice in which if we failed, it didn't just, like, send us down a different route, it flat outright just ended the game. So I think the game does try and push Benedict's side. But like you said, he's a bit too extreme of a realist, which I think is a really good way to put it. It got a bad ending. Yeah, on April 1st of all things, of all times. It wasn't intentional. Let's see, what chapter was it? Here we go. Yeah, it was actually with the salt crystal. When I was searching for the salt crystal, I didn't realize that there was a third option to go and, well, essentially find the salt crystal. And I had spoken to everybody, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm done. And so I ended it there. And since I didn't find the crystal, the Hyzant army was able to just go and quite literally wipe us off the face of Norzelia. And the bad ending was literally, we fought valiantly, but we all died in the end. And eventually, as time went on, even history forgot the Wolfort name. I was like, oh, okay. So yes, there are actual bad endings in the game. How you achieve them, I think you really have to fail hard. It just ended. Yeah, it didn't even fight. Yeah. I mean, do I think I would have been able to win against literally the army of like an entire country? No, I don't think I would. So I think it's fair to just simply say, oh, we lost. But it is an ending. You won't see it here, though, because it basically just says, you done goofed. Reset. And try it again. Yeah, it's... The game definitely pushes you to try and take Benedict's side, but... Well, as we've seen, I'm stubborn. And I refuse to yield, so... Yeah. Alrighty then. Shall we go on and see Izana's character story?
Tell me, why did you bring me all the way out here?
Was something unclear in my explanation?
Well, truth be told, I was clutching to the hawk for dear life. I could not make out a single word of what you said.
Well, then perhaps it's best to simply show you.
What? Who? Oh, it can't be.
Izana, my love. I'm overjoyed to see you unharmed.
You're alive. Where have you been? I looked for you. I looked.
I caused you worry, and for that I am truly sorry. I went to meet you, but on the way realized that you were being followed by Hyzant's watchdogs. I threw myself at them to serve as a distraction. You managed to escape, I see, so my efforts were not in vain.
You fool. You should not have worried about me. What did they... What's wrong? Are you wounded?
The goddess of salt has scant mercy for those who have renounced her. The marks her scorn left remind me of their presence on cold nights like this. The night I escaped, I fled to my home. However, I returned to naught but ashes. So I fled further, deep into the mountains. There I found refuge with a kindly old woman, where I've lived ever since. Until now, that is.
You asked me for my assistance, and I am as good as my word. I hope my efforts did not disappoint. I expect you two have much to talk about. I shan't disturb you any longer.
Mistress Huette here explained to me how you've come to be in their service. I would give anything to aid you in your fight, but...
Say no more. Do not worry, my love. Leave everything to me. I shall bring this war to an end, so that no more innocent sacrifices are made upon the altar of faith. But for now, let me spend this night by your side.
Oh, that's just... That's good. That's good. Good for her. Good for him. Good for them. That's wholesome. That's nice. That's nice to see that she didn't lose everything. Look, Bloom even on the battlefield. That it can. That it can. I don't exactly remember how that line is continued. I'm sorry. I know you're referencing Metal Gear, though. I do not remember how that line continues. I know where it leads them, but I don't remember exactly how it continues. In terms of exact words. Only know it from a Flash video? Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. They're making fun of Otacon. Yeah, okay, well... it's still Metal Gear then. It's close enough. Oh, well. Let's see. Narv here's an Narv here... English is a language. Narv heals an injured child with his grandfather's magic. There we go. That's a sentence. There we go.
Damn it all. At this rate, I'll never come close to carrying on Grandfather's legacy. Maybe I was never destined to be a great mage after all.
Ow! It hurts!
Oh no, the poor child's fallen. Hey there, are you hurt?
Ow! It hurts so bad I can't even stand!
Not to worry. I'll fix you right up. So dry those tears.
Really?
Yup. The pain will disappear like magic. You'll see.
Wow! It doesn't hurt anymore. Thank you, sir. Grandma, look! My leg's all better now.
Well, I'll be. Thank you so much for healing my grandson.
You don't need to thank me. This is nothing.
Those robes. You wouldn't happen to be a student of the Archmage Grandante, would you?
you know my grandfather?
Oh, of course I do. What a great man he was, always using his magic to help those in need, much like you. I was just one of many whose lives he saved. Why, that was over 30 years ago. I lost my house to the fires of war and nearly my life along with it. But he quenched the flames with his spellcraft and healed my burns. Had it not been for the Archmage Grandante, I would not be here today. I am forever in his debt.
Even though Grandfather's name was erased from Hyzant's records, his memory lives on in the people he helped.
It sounds like he was a truly amazing man indeed. And I know he would be proud of you for following in his footsteps.
Do you really think so?
I do. And I have no doubt that one day you will restore the glory to your grandfather's name. No matter what the Ministry does to erase his existence, his spirit lives on through you.
Right. But I must keep practicing, that I might help even more people with my spells. Just watch me, Grandfather. I'll restore the honor of your name if it's the last thing I do.
So he did exist. Grandante actually existed. He wasn't making it up. They did actually erase his name from the records. When he said that, I was starting to believe him, because I was like, okay, well, that does seem like something Hyzant would do. Yeah, he did exist. Clearly. Also. Oh no, it looks like you skinned your knee. That's fine. I'll heal it right up. Battle stance. It's like, oh, I'll heal it right up. Not gonna just take out the staff and go a little, and it's healed. It's this. It's the grand battle stance I have been taught and passed down for generations. He was ready to throw down despite the fact that he was casting just a boop, and your skin knee is healed. Now, with every fiber of my being, with all my heart and soul, I cast minor spell of healing. Oh no, I just wanted that funny. Alrighty, let's... I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. What's our last character story? Micheletta tries to bring joy to the children who have lost their smile. Oh, okay. This should be happy. Should be good.
Oh, however will we carry on?
Where's our house, Mama? Did the fire eat it?
They're just like me.
Piccoletta.
They lost everything. They're sad and hurting and don't know what to do. Sitting there all alone, I thought I'd never smile again. But that's when you and the others found me. You told me I threw my ball so well. Hearing that made me so happy. I felt warm inside again. I realized I wasn't alone in the world. And now it's my turn to do the same.
Wow! Look
Look, Mama, she's amazing.
What are you doing, miss? I'm juggling. Do you like it?
It's incredible. I wish I could do that too.
Me too. Well then, why don't I teach you?
Piccoletta is just like a troop leader. She brought joy to those children. She turned her sadness into a smile to cheer up others. That child can be a ray of light, warming the hearts of those bereft of hope.
Come one, come all! Behold, Piccoletta's Circus, the greatest show in all the land!
That did start off really sad for a second. I got good though. I got good. Better than Zuko's juggling. Fair enough. Fair enough. Her juggling is also deadly. Well, assuming you weren't throwing a ball more than one freaking tile high. Or one tile below. Well, now that we had a nice little break and went to Piccoletta's circus, it's now time to hear one of two things. Which one first? People being unhappy about politics, or people being unhappy about politics? Which one do you want first? More juggling? We can see if there's something in the cabin. Piccoletta, where are you? Piccoletta. I cannot support more juggling, unfortunately. Also, who needs the obsidian? I just realized we got obsidian, but I didn't... Who needs it? I now actually have this, like, genuine question. Are there characters that I don't use at all? Yes. Yes, there are. As you can see, half of us are over level 21, and the other half are level 12 and below. If they are level 21 or above, I use them. If they are level 12 or below, I do not. And that's due to a couple different reasons. One of them is due to deployment. Story maps only allow you to take in 10 characters. So I just simply chose the 10 characters that I felt fit the best for my playstyle and for simply like who I like to use, who is powerful, and my playstyle. But also simply because some characters I simply just don't enjoy using. I quite honestly just didn't like Jens. He just has so many abilities that either are just completely useless or like so situation specific and requires so much to be put into him in order to get something that we now can do with other characters that it wasn't worth it. And that's how it goes with most of these guys. It requires, for example, these two are buffers. they work and they buff the team. However, I don't know how effective the buffs are. And I don't know what their future skills were or how. I couldn't see how they would progress. So I just ended up not using them. Correntin probably could have been good. He's an ice mage, but I simply found the other mages better. Lionel's an interesting character. I think I probably could have used him. However, I just didn't find a way for him to mesh or anyone to replace. Archibald, in my opinion, was literally just Huette, but generic brand, essentially. I simply find Huette's abilities better, and therefore decided not to train him. And then Medina is actually a really good healer. But the problem is she requires the use of items. She doesn't have any just like cure wounds like Gila. So I decided that at the moment when I first got her, I didn't have any money. And I still really don't have a ton of money. I just get like 1 or 2 upgrades. And then my money's gone. So I don't have any money to buy healing items. So she really can't just be used all that well. And then as for Hosobara, they tried to make her a battle cleric, a battle mage, war cleric, whatever you want to call her. Whatever the archetype is, that it's like, I can heal and deal damage. But unfortunately, she lacks the ability to excel at either one. So I think in the end, when it came down to I have to choose to replace someone with her, I decided no one's really worth replacing for someone who's kind of meh at both healing and damage. Yeah, I don't use these 8 guys. I use these 10 though. Benedict, and only Benedict. He's the only one who uses obsidian, really? That was a waste of my time then. Only Archibald left. Only Benedict and Hosobara. We already got his honest to level 2, I think. Correntin and Lahinel, we already got... yeah. So, at the current moment, there's no reason for me to use those. Quite honestly, I could possibly sell them. How much would they get me? 3,000 and then 1,500 for each of these. That's not bad. Actually, one of those... Yes. Yes, we can. Okay, so let's see what we can do then. So we already got maxed out you. Shielding stances take damage for nearby allies, right? Yes, take damage for nearby allies, increases movement by 1 with clear weather. That's not bad. Oh, his mask and stuff is off now. That's cool. I like the little update that switches between that. That's pretty cool. Increases magic when on a square that is ablaze. It's very specific. Increases movement by 1 when enemies are nearby. So you can run away. That's good. However, I don't really think I've put I don't think I've ever really put Gila in a situation where she's nearby enemies. And I felt like I was going to be able to run away. I think anytime she's nearby enemies, either 1, I already have a way to deal with them, or 2, I'm already screwed. Deals damage dealt while taking cover. That's actually quite nice. That also increases your stats by quite a bit. This one also increases your stats by quite a bit. And I'm assuming Desperate Defense is increasing defense while on low health. Decreases damage taken when HP is at 50% or below. That's not bad. Extending your reach, don't fully know that, but that sounds like a range increase, which is nice. As long as it's not like QETs, where it's extend your range for one attack and then never again for the rest of the battle. You still need to unlock Pierce Defenses, and then can eventually get Rite of Luck, which I'm assuming increases luck. I mean, surprise, surprise, but like for like an AoE or something like that. No, I'm kind of liking the idea of Anna. Also, you can't tell me that the Master Assassin color scheme is not inspired by Assassin's Creed. There's no way they have the white cloak and not just have it be Assassin's Creed. How much is this improving? 1 to strength, physical defense, magic defense, accuracy, and evasion. Increasing HP by 3 and TP by 1. You are actually incredibly tanky compared to many other characters that we have. You're tankier than Roland and Serenoa. You're actually the second tankiest character in our party. Really good. You know what? Let's go with that. I like this.
I await your orders.
Oh yeah, we do have another one. Conquer the arena. Oh my gosh. No. Not now. I think we'll go through the story and then we'll probably call it a day. Let's go through these two stories, then we'll call it.
There are more who accepted Aesfrost's rule than I imagined.
Glenbrook's history is long. Yet, that is why hierarchy and precedent hold sway. This is a stubborn land, my lady, not given to easy change. Though Archduke Gustadolf, acting in the name of freedom, granted privilege after privilege to the powerful. For people used to Glenbrook's rigid customs, I suppose that sort of change must have been too seductive to resist.
Perhaps, but his freedom was naught but greed and cruelty.
Lady Frederica, I've been searching everywhere for you.
A Wolffort messenger. Did you run all this way? What's happened?
My lady, I hail from Castle Wolffort, bearing tidings of Lord Simo.
Has he awakened?
He has. He is in high spirits and recovering well. He is most pleased to hear of the capital's recapture. He bids you visit Castle Wolffort so he can honor you himself.
Oh, I must bring these glad tidings to Serenoa at once. How long it has been since I've seen him smile.
There is one more bit of news I have for you, my lady, but it is not so happy.
Is there some sort of trouble in the Wolffort domain?
Bandits are laying waste to the Rosellan village. To our shame, Castle Wolffort does not have enough soldiers to stop this. We would beg Lord Serenoa's wisdom in this matter.
The enemy must be powerful indeed. We cannot leave the Rosellan village defenseless.
Let us inform the others. Messenger, with us.
Well, well. Things are about to get interesting.
Hello? What do you know about this? Okay. And be gone. Excuse me for one moment. I apologize, I had to go and change it to follow only. Not something I normally do, but clearly if there's going to be a-holes in the chat, I won't even spare them that. Clearly if there's going to be assholes in the chat, then I won't tolerate that. Okay. And now to do the same thing for this other asshole. Give them the bad soup ending. Screen time up. There we go. I don't know if they're bots or not. I mean, they might be. Assuming they both showed up simultaneously, I'm going to assume they are bots. So, as per tradition, I give them this. Be gone! Bot! Okay, I'll keep it on follower only for a little bit longer. Just to try and make sure no other assholes show up. I don't want to do that because I feel like that's just restricting people. I don't want to force people to follow if they don't want to. Just to chat, but clearly, there are things that need to be done. Because some people have to ruin it for everyone. No, that's fine. It won't last for too long. But for the moment, let's check in at Whiteholm Castle. And hope they must not like hot sauce. Alrighty, let's That's, I don't know why. That's probably a lot more funny than it should be. That's funny. Alright, let's check out the castle.
A coronation ceremony. Certainly there are more important matters to focus on right now.
A coronation is important to assuage the people's fears and restore their faith, besides which it is the royalists' most fervent wish. A kingdom is only truly as strong as people believe it to be, and right now the world believes Glenbrook weak. The ceremony will be a display to the contrary.
Is this truly the remedy our situation calls for? Right now, I imagine the people care only for where their next hot meal will come from.
Rest assured, sire, House Wolford will see your subjects shan't go hungry. But trust me when I say nothing will hasten Glenbrook's return to her former glory so much as announcing the return of Regna's rightful heir. To win your subjects' hearts, you need do nothing but ascend to your position upon the throne.
You mean sit my royal backside on a fancy chair?
In a manner of speaking. A king's duty is first and foremost serving as his kingdom's symbol. You needn't trouble yourself with day-to-day governance. We will assume that burden. After all, you have only just been crowned.
There will be no ceremony. The people will tell us what they need, and you will listen to them, Patriot. That is my command.
As you wish, King Roland.
How fare things, Suette? Have the relief supplies been given to those who need it?
Well, we had received a sizable shipment of goods from Hyzant, but there are complaints. It seems very few of those goods have made it into the hands of the people.
And why is that?
We aren't certain, though apparently Patriot and the Royalists involve themselves with the distribution.
Damn those Royalists! They cannot be left to their own devices.
Again, Roland. This is why I like you, and I think you are fit to be ruler. You aren't going to sit there and simply be... You aren't going to... What's it? You aren't going to sit your royal backside on a fancy chair and simply be a symbol. You're actually going to go out and help people, which I quite like about you. Go ahead and take that off now. I quite like that about Roland. I like how he's not going to sit there and be a symbol. I like how he runs things, and I like how he recognizes that there is and was corruption. And I think he's up to the task of putting an end to it. I think he's up to the task of setting things straight and doing things right. Oh yeah. Also, it seems we have a very important decision to make next time. I think for now, unless there's any side story that I want to take a look at. Well, there is actually one side story. You know what, let's take a look at the side story before I call it. We'll take a look at the side story, and then we'll call it. You know what, I can't even be mad at that. That one's good. I like how he rolls and lands. Can't even be mad at that one. That one's genuinely good. I applaud you. That's genuinely good. Well played. Well done. Bad pun master, perfect.
House Wolfort and Minister Exham's forces have reclaimed the Crown City. And not only that, they have dealt a heavy blow to the Aesfrosti forces in killing Thallus and other commanding officers.
We couldn't have hoped for a better outcome.
Oh, to see Gustadolf's face when he hears the news. Now he'll have no choice but to come crawling to us on hands and knees, begging for salt. Though, this could be our chance to crush the duchy once and for all.
Just because they're licking their wounds does not make them easy prey. They still have their iron, after all.
Iron? We can get iron. All we need do is make Glenbrook hand over the Grand Norzelian mines to a paltry price to pay for our bountiful aid in their restoration of the Crown City.
The Grand Norzelian mines. The spark that lit the flame of Aesfrost's aggression. But why go through the trouble to seize an iron source when they have all the iron they could ever need? I should have Milo look into the matter.
Minister Idor?
Well, regardless, we control the salt. I say we bide our time until Aesfrost admits they are defeated. Besides, Glenbrook seeks our aid in their reconstruction efforts, do they not?
Yes. King Roland and Minister Serenoa have both asked for help and sent reports detailing the extent of the damage to the Crown City.
Send forth a veritable bounty. To Minister Serenoa of the Saintly Seven, that is.
Ah, yes. A show of the goddess's grace to the people, and as a wedge to drive between him and the king.
Aesfrost, Glenbrook. They will both be ours before long.
I had a feeling they were up to something no good. Not all of them, but some of them. I got the general feeling Exham, Lila, and Kamsel? I don't remember exactly how it's pronounced, what exactly his name is. He hasn't exactly had too many times in which his name has been spoken. But I think they are good. They genuinely just want to protect their own people and reach for peace. But yeah, clearly there are other people who don't want to do that. And also, I think it's almost guaranteed at this point that what they found in the iron mines is the salt crystals. They found the salt crystals, and that's why they wanted to seize control of it. And that's why they were so confident that they can go without salt, because they found the salt crystals themselves and could therefore use them. 100%. That's why it's there. And clearly Milo is going to relay that to everyone, which is going to cause more problems. So that leaves us with apparently more triangles. Yes, more triangle politics. However, this is an acceptable political thing because it's not real. Which means my actions don't actually bear any consequences. Why get abandoned? It affects nothing. Yes, there is more behind the scenes than Serenoa might see. However, we as a player know a lot more. That's how it is being, what's it, a fly on the wall, a third party? Nothing more than a narrator playing with their toys. Other such variable things like that. It appears we will have to separate the party soon. So we'll have to save that decision for next time. Because I think this is a decent stopping point. And I shall go ahead and call it here. Let's go ahead and let's switch over to the ending screen after I save one more. No! No, 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 nope, 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 nope. I meant to press X, not A. It's fine, it auto-saves. So even if I didn't actually save, we're fine. We're fine, it's good. Nothing went wrong. You saw nothing. Thanks for the stream. Well, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. Sorry, I know it was sad you cut out the game, get a bad ending. I wonder, I truly wonder, if there is some game out there that has a special ending for having a corrupted file. And I don't mean like a meta thing where it's, you know, like Undertale or whatever, where they're like, oh, I deleted your file and it's saved and reloaded, and ha 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 ha, you know, stuff like that. Or like DDLC, Doki Doki Literature Club, where they went and, you know, ha 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 ha, I deleted the characters from the file and character files are corrupted and now they will no longer appear, and ha 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 ha, and all that sort of stuff. But like, I want to see a game where it's just like, your files are corrupted. So instead of explaining, your files are corrupted, they just go, a meteor hit the earth and everyone died, the end. Make an actual bad ending for, ouch. Let's make an actual bad ending for the, for a corrupted file. I think that'd be funny. Well, actually, wait, is there actually? Really? The original version of... Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, it did. Didn't it? I'm sorry, I got a little loud there. It did, didn't it? I totally forgot about that. Where it was actually one shot. And if you closed without, yeah, if you closed without saving, it just bad ended, didn't it? Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Man, I didn't even replay that game. They're doing a remake for consoles. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm excited for it. It's a really good game that I think a lot of people should play. It won't quite be the same, though. There are definitely some... There are some parts of it, similar to that of, like, Doki Doki, that I don't think can be fully expressed on consoles, but I am excited to see what they do with it. And I fully support their endeavors to make it available to more people, because it's a genuinely good game. The music is cool, and I like Nico as a character. Yeah, it's really, really good. Yes! And of course the game has my favorite achievement of all time with the Roomba. The devs knew what they were doing, and it makes me so happy to see it. We actually tried hazelnut pancakes. I think I've had, like, the Roomba was funny, yes. I think I've had, like, whatchamacallit. What's the name of the brand? I can't think of it. Nutella, that's what it is. Nutella. I had like Nutella on pancakes and stuff like that, but I don't think I've had just like flat outright hazelnut pancakes. I think that would be really good. It's cool that you got to have them. It's also cool that you've played one shot. That's, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of been falling away from my, from the front of my mind. It's been falling into the back of my mind. It's a really good game though. I should replay it. It's a good one. I totally forgot that they actually watched it. I mean, close enough. You still understand at least what happens. Yeah, I totally forgot that the original version gave you a bad end if you closed without reaching an official save point. Totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. Don't hurt Nico. No, don't hurt Nico. Nico is an adorable little boy. Or girl. I don't remember. Adorable little baby. You must protect. Only head pat. Glad they changed that? Yeah. Especially like if you get lost or something like that. Because you can only use the save points once and yada 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 and stuff like that. So I'm glad they didn't keep that, because it could become very easy to just like lose track of time while playing the game or get lost or whatever. Trying to do anything and everything. That you could just like, oh, I gotta go. Yeah. So yeah, it's good that they changed that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's... Yeah. I think, though, it's about time I called it. I appreciate y'all coming out. It means a lot to me that y'all come and hang out. Head out and see you later. Yeah, see you later too. Like I said, I appreciate y'all coming out. It means a lot to me that someone decides to spend time here. It's also just a ton of fun to experience this game with other people. I enjoy talking about it, so I'm glad that you decide to spend time. And I hope you have a wonderful insert time here. I'll see you later. But yeah. To anybody who may be lurking in the background, or maybe watching this as a VOD in the future. Hello, future people, for one. And, two, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, feel free to leave a follow. It's just a nice and easy way to say, hey, I like what you're doing, keep up the good work. It's also a good way to get notifications, so if you're interested in more of what I do, which is usually RPGs like this, but with the occasional random game on the side, you can go ahead and check that out. Follow us through both Twitch and Twitter will get you notifications. I send out notifications through both platforms, so feel free to check those out. If you're interested in seeing some of what I've done, I cannot speak English. Wow. If you're, wow. Thanks, Brian. If you're interested in seeing some of what I've done in the past, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. I have uploaded all my VODs, well, all my VODs over the last few months, given that's when I started actually locally recording. But I've been uploading VODs there, and it is fully up to date. It's up to date. And you can basically, if you've ever missed anything of this triangle strategy playthrough, you can check that out. I've been playing Kirby, so you can check that out. What else have I done that you can see on there? Wow, I'm already forgetting games that I played myself, huh? Oh yeah, you can watch me lose all my sanity on Metroid Dread. I tried to speedrun that on Dread mode, was interesting. What else can you do? You can see me try out the Risk of Rain DLC. You can see me try out Dead Cells DLC. You can see me play Pokemon Legends. There's a bunch of stuff up there. A lot of my past content. So feel free to check that out if you're interested in seeing what I've done before. But I think for now, it's going to be it for today. Regardless if I choose to show your support, it means a lot to me, and I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it happens to be wherever you are. And I hope to see you all again later. Thanks for hanging out.